Hey Cowboys Nation. Welcome to your ultimate destination for all things Dallas Cowboys. From the latest news, game analyses, rumors to deep dives into player performances and strategies, we've got you covered. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a play. Let's dive into everything you need to know about America's team. The atmosphere around Dallas has been buzzing with whispers, speculation, and that familiar feeling that something big might be brewing behind the scenes. When the name Bobby Wagner started circulating in conversations tied to the Cowboys, fans and analysts alike leaned a little closer to their screens. This is not just another veteran linebacker whose best days might be fading into memory. Wagner carries a reputation that travels ahead of him like a storm rolling across the plains. For years, he has been known as the type of presence who changes the energy of an entire locker room the moment he walks through the door. The Cowboys have long been searching for that commanding voice in the middle of the defense. Someone who can see everything unfolding before the snap and make the entire unit move like a single organism. Rumors suggest that inside the organization there is a growing belief that Wagner could be that missing piece. Not only because of his football intelligence, but because of the way younger players tend to orbit around him, absorbing every detail of how he prepares, studies, and leads. In Dallas, leadership has always been a delicate subject. Talent has never been the issue. The real question has always been about who steps forward when the lights are bright and the pressure tightens. According to speculation swirling through league circles, Wagner's arrival could shake that dynamic in ways nobody fully expects. Inside the Cowboys' locker room, the mere possibility of a player like Bobby Wagner joining the roster seems to have created an invisible ripple. Players might not say it openly into microphones, but sources close to the team hint that conversations have already started to shift. Wagner's reputation precedes him in a way that few defenders in modern football can match. Teammates from his past have described him as the type of player who treats every practice like it carries the weight of a championship moment. That kind of mentality can be contagious, but can also be intimidating. Younger linebackers who once felt comfortable in their roles may suddenly feel the ground moving beneath their cleats. Veterans who have been around the building for years might start wondering how the leadership hierarchy will evolve if Wagner truly becomes part of the group. Dallas has always had personalities, star power, and plenty of noise around the team, but discipline and defensive identity have sometimes wavered. That is where speculation surrounding Wagner becomes fascinating. If he steps into that locker room, he does not arrive quietly. He arrives with expectations, with standards, and with the type of presence that demands accountability from everyone around him. And according to people close to the situation, the Cowboys front office understands exactly the kind of ripple effect that could follow. Around the league, the chatter has only grown louder. Analysts on television panels and insiders on podcasts have started to explore the same intriguing question. What happens if Bobby Wagner truly becomes the heartbeat of the Cowboys' defense? Dallas has spent years assembling a roster full of explosive athletes, but the idea of pairing that speed with Wagner's football mind has captured the imagination of fans. Some insiders suggest that coaches inside the building are quietly fascinated by the possibility of having a linebacker who reads offenses almost like a quarterback reads defenses. Wagner has built a career on anticipation, positioning, and a relentless ability to diagnose plays before they fully develop. In a defensive system that already features dangerous pass rushers and aggressive defensive backs, a mind like Wagner could serve as the conductor of the entire orchestra. Yet, with that potential comes tension. Whenever a veteran with a decorated resume arrives somewhere new, it forces a reset of internal dynamics. Players who once held leadership roles might suddenly feel challenged. Others might embrace the opportunity to learn from one of the most respected defensive minds of his generation. What makes the situation even more intriguing is the quiet belief among some observers that Wagner is not simply looking for another stop in his career. According to whispers floating through league circles, he could be arriving with something to prove. For Cowboys fans, the idea of Bobby Wagner wearing the star on his helmet triggers a mix of excitement and curiosity. Dallas has seen legendary linebackers define eras of football in the past, and speculation has begun about whether Wagner could write a surprising new chapter in that long defensive tradition. While no official announcement has sent shock waves through the league, The rumor alone has sparked endless debates across sports talk shows and fan forums. Some voices argue that Wagner's experience could be exactly what the Cowboys' defense has been missing during tense moments when communication and discipline become critical. Others wonder how the defensive locker room would respond to such a powerful new presence arriving with a resume that commands respect. What makes the speculation feel so alive is the timing. Dallas sits at a crossroads where expectations remain sky-high. Yet, the path toward becoming a truly dominant defense has sometimes felt just out of reach. Wagner's name entering the conversation changes the emotional landscape instantly. If the whispers hold even a grain of truth, the Cowboys may not simply be adding another veteran player. They may be inviting a leader who carries a culture with him, someone capable of transforming the emotional temperature of the entire defense. Behind closed doors, league insiders suggest the Cowboys' coaching staff may be intrigued by something that goes beyond Wagner's on-field ability. Leadership in professional football is often unpredictable, shaped by personalities and the chemistry inside a locker room that outsiders rarely see. Wagner has built a reputation not only for studying film with obsessive attention, but also for mentoring younger defenders who are still learning how to survive in the unforgiving world of the league. Some whispers indicate that Dallas has been searching for exactly that kind of influence. A player who can quietly guide teammates during film sessions, practices, and those tense moments before defensive series begins. The presence of a veteran with Wagner's background could subtly shift the culture of accountability within a building. Players might feel pressure to elevate their preparation simply because Wagner standards are so famously demanding. And yet, there's also an element of uncertainty floating around the rumor. Whenever a new voice arrives in a locker room filled with strong personalities, friction can appear in unexpected ways. The Cowboys have always been a team that thrives on emotion and confidence. Introducing a figure like Wagner could either unify that energy or challenge it in ways nobody fully predicts. What makes this entire situation feel like a brewing storm is the emotional reaction already forming among Cowboy supporters. Even without confirmation, the thought of Bobby Wagner stepping into the defensive huddle has sparked imaginations across the fan base. People envision him calling adjustments, pointing out offensive shifts, and guiding younger teammates with the calm authority that defined his career. Yet, the speculation also raises deeper questions about how the existing leaders inside that locker room might respond. Football teams are delicate ecosystems where hierarchy matters more than outsiders often realize. When a veteran with Wagner stature arrives, it does not simply add talent to the roster. It reshapes conversations, expectations, and even the psychological balance within the team. Some insiders believe the Cowboys' front office understands exactly how dramatic that ripple could become. They see Wagner not only as a linebacker, but as a stabilizing force capable of changing the emotional structure of the defense. Others quietly wonder whether such a powerful presence could challenge established voices already inside the locker room. Whatever the truth may be, the rumor alone has created a fascinating storyline that continues to grow louder with every passing conversation around the league. As the speculation continues to swirl, another layer of intrigue begins to surface around what Bobby Wagner's presence could mean for the internal identity of Cowboys' defense. Dallas has always been a team filled with confident personalities. Players who thrive on attention and carry the swagger that comes with wearing one of the most recognizable brands in sports. But Wagner represents something slightly different. His leadership style is often described as quiet intensity, a form of authority built through preparation, discipline, and relentless consistency. Rumors circulating around league insiders suggest that this contrast could create a fascinating dynamic inside the Cowboys' locker room. Some believe younger defenders would immediately gravitate toward him, eager to learn the habits that allowed him to remain elite for so long. Others wonder whether certain established voices might feel their influence being tested. That tension, according to speculation, is precisely what the Cowboys' front office might be looking for. For years, the team has been stacked with talent. Yet, critics often question whether the defensive unit always maintains the same focus in the most critical moments. The arrival of a veteran known for obsessive preparation could force everyone around him to sharpen their own approach. In that sense, Wagner would not simply join the defense. He would challenge it, Another fascinating rumor making the rounds involves how the coaching staff might envision Wagner's role beyond the traditional responsibilities of a linebacker. Insiders whisper that coaches could see him almost like an extension of the defensive coordinator on the field. Few players in the modern era are praised as consistently for their ability to read offensive formations before the snap. Wagner has built a reputation for identifying tendencies, calling adjustments, and positioning teammates in the exact spots where chaos can suddenly turn into control. If those whispers are even partially accurate, Dallas may be imagining a defensive structure where Wagner acts as the nerve center, orchestrating movements and calming the storm when offenses try to create confusion. For younger players still developing their instincts, having that voice in the middle of the formation could be invaluable. Yet, the idea also adds pressure. When a veteran arrives with that level of trust from coaches, expectations rise immediately. Every snap becomes part of a larger narrative about leadership, intelligence, and control. According to league chatter, Wagner would likely embrace the responsibility, but it would also place him at the emotional core of the entire defensive operation within the Cowboys' locker room itself. The rumor has reportedly sparked countless private conversations. Players may keep their public statements measured, but speculation suggests that the idea of Wagner joining the group has already started to influence how certain defenders view the upcoming season. Some are excited by the possibility of sharing the field with a player whose resume carries immense respect across the league. Others quietly recognize that his arrival could reshape competition for roles and influence. Football locker rooms are ecosystems where hierarchy forms naturally over time, and introducing a new leader can disrupt that balance in unpredictable ways. According to whispers from people close to the organization, the Cowboys might actually welcome that disruption. Competition often pushes players to elevate their focus, and a veteran who demands excellence, through his example, could raise the entire defensive standard. Wagner's reputation for film study alone has become legendary in some circles. Stories circulate about the hours he spends analyzing tendencies and preparing for every possible scenario. If those habits become visible inside the Cowboys facility, they could influence the daily rhythm of preparation for the entire defensive roster. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. Fans watching from the outside have begun imagining how Wagner's presence might change the emotional tone of the defense when pressure builds. Dallas has often fielded explosive units capable of dominating stretches of games. Yet, critics sometimes question how the group responds when momentum swings against them. That is where Wagner's reputation becomes especially intriguing. Throughout his career, he has been known as a stabilizing voice during chaotic moments. Someone who gathers teammates together and reminds them of the plan when everything feels like it is unraveling. According to speculation spreading through sports talk circles, the Cowboys might view that quality as just as valuable as any tackle or interception. Leadership during adversity can redefine an entire defensive identity. Younger players learn how to react in stressful moments by watching the veterans around them. If Wagner truly steps into that environment, his reactions, communication style, and emotional control could shape how the defense handles pressure situations throughout the season. In that sense, the ripple effect would extend far beyond individual plays. It would become part of the psychological fabric of the entire team. There's also an undercurrent to the rumor that adds an extra layer of drama to the story. Some observers believe Wagner himself might be motivated by more than simply continuing his career. According to quiet chatter circulating around league insiders, he may see this potential chapter as an opportunity to redefine how people view the later stages of his journey. Veterans with legendary reputations sometimes reach a point where the league begins to question whether their influence still carries the same weight. If Wagner were to walk into Dallas and immediately command the respect of a talented defense, it could silence those doubts in spectacular fashion. The Cowboys, with their enormous spotlight and relentless media attention, provide the perfect stage for that type of statement. Every practice observation, every sideline conversation, every moment of leadership would be dissected and analyzed. For a competitor known for thriving under pressure, that environment might actually be appealing. And if the whispers are correct, Wagner would not shy away from the responsibility of proving that his voice still carries the authority that defined his career. As the rumor continues to spread through fan communities and league circles, one thing has become clear. The idea of Bobby Wagner in Dallas has already captured imaginations in a powerful way. Even without confirmation, the story has taken on a life of its own, fueling debates about leadership, culture, and the future direction of the Cowboys' defense. Some fans picture a seamless transition where Wagner instantly becomes the guiding force of the unit. Others predict a more complicated evolution where personalities clash before eventually forming a stronger identity. That uncertainty is part of what makes the speculation so compelling. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like.